Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for coming. People still coming in our second webinar. Thank you very much for coming back, and maybe you just joined the second session. The second session today is going to talk around designing exciting and engaging ELT materials. We have a speaker from UK, Jérôme, and we are going to have a Finita on that. Yeah, so we'll come back, relax, grab your coffee, and later pay attention and interact as usual. Make it as relaxed as usual. Enjoy the Saturday afternoon with us. Joe, can you introduce your own then?
Fantastic. So thanks everyone for coming along to the second Saturday Tech Talk. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with everybody. We've still got some people coming into the room. Lots and lots of people have registered, which is brilliant to see. And we're in for a real treat today. As Bhagjati said, in today's session, we're looking at material design and in particular how to use Canva. We have an expert from the UK, from France originally, Jérôme Nogues, who I'm going to introduce very shortly. And we also have Finita as well, talking about Canva. So we're in for a real treat today, I think. And it's lovely to see so many people joining us.
Yeah, it's going to be fun Saturday afternoon, and people are still coming. We've got like around some 1,000 something, and then right now we have 250, and people are still coming in. Yeah, Joe.
They're waiting patiently coming into the room, and we're also live streaming on YouTube as well, which means if you can't get into the room for in the future, we're going to have the live stream that you can access as well. So I've tweeted about that. So if you haven't got the link, then feel free to find it on Twitter, pass it on to colleagues if they can't come in, and we're always going to have that option so that everybody who wants to come along, for us on a Saturday morning in the UK and for people in Southeast Asia in the afternoon, you're all very, very welcome. And it's really lovely to see so many people coming here wanting to learn about new ideas, which we know you're going to be trying in your classrooms as soon as next week. So it's just wonderful for you all to come along today.
Yeah, I think it's time to introduce Jérôme then, while people are coming in, and that's okay.
Fantastic. Okay, so it's my absolute pleasure to be introducing Jérôme Nogues, who is a languages teacher from the Midlands. Jérôme works in a prep school. Jérôme and I have never met face to face, although we've been connected for probably a couple of years now, I think. And I was absolutely delighted that Jérôme agreed to take part in the Saturday Tech Talk webinar series, because I've been incredibly impressed by different presentations that he's given during the pandemic and prior to the pandemic, and all the different amazing things he can do. Today we're focusing on Canva, but there's lots of other things which Jérôme has presented about, and I'm sure he'll mention his YouTube channel, which will give you a flavour of his expertise in this area. But without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Jérôme. Thank you so much for doing this, Jérôme. If you wanted to give us a little bit more background about yourself, if that's okay, and then
we'll
get
be
started.
in the presentation. But thanks very much for having me. It's amazing to be here, and thank you guys. Big thank you to Joe. Big thank you to Headmaster who actually allowed me to be part of this, because we're normally teaching on Saturday morning. So and thanks to my colleague who are covering for me. So that's very kind of them. So I'm going to be starting my presentation talking about Canva, and that's the one. Can you see that now?
Yeah, that's all fantastic. And I would encourage everybody as well, if you have any questions for Jérôme, put them in the chat, and I'll be collecting the questions throughout the presentation. We'll do a couple of questions at the end of Jérôme's presentation, and then I'll hand over to Pagjati, who will then introduce Finita, and then likewise we'd love you to post your questions in the chat for Finita's session, and then we'll have a longer Q&A at the end of the webinar. Brilliant. Over to you, Jérôme. I'm going to mute my mic and my video now and give you the floor.
That was great. Thank you very much. Very kind. Thank you, Joe. Right, guys, it's all about designing exciting and engaging material in language lessons. I've been using Canva for many things, designing things for my classroom or designing things for myself and things like that. But I think it's brilliant. It's such a fantastic tool. So a little bit about me. I've been teaching French for over 20 years. I'm a head of a MFL in prep school. I also digital learning. I should have written that too in Packwood Hall School, and I've got a couple of caps in Microsoft. I'm a Microsoft Innovative Education Expert Fellow this year, which I'm very chuffed about, and do a bit of a bits and bobs for Flipgrid and Wakelet Ambassador, as you can see. And luckily, I also created that little competition called Poesia. So if you're interested, it's you can scan the QR code. Look at that. So you can have a quick look at that. Scan it. Have a look. It's a recitation competition. It's amazing. So I'll go look into it. It could be quite interesting for you people, especially if you teach English as a foreign language, as it is one of the 6 languages that represent. And I've been translating and adapting one book this year, which I'm very lucky to be doing too. Right. Can I just tell you that, first of all, if you want to join Canva, you have access to it for free. But if you're an educator, you work in a school, you have the full functionality of Canva by using the QR code. So if you click on the QR code, you probably will have access to my presentation later on anyway. Just click on this and you go through hoops. It's very straightforward. Usually you have to pop your badge. You take a picture of your badge there, you send that to Canva, and within 2 or 3 days, you have access to the fully functional Canva. So I duly advise you to do it if you want to have it for free and forever. After that, you don't have to prove anything. So it's amazing. You should definitely use it. Right. I'm going to do a very super quick Canva tour. So I'm going to get out of my presentation, and you probably can see the top there. It doesn't really matter. Okay, Canva, if you never used it, you can absolutely design everything and anything. So you can design from, let's have a quick creative design. We'll do that one all together. Things for the classroom. You can do some stuff for group work. You can design your Zoom virtual background, brainstorming flashcards. You can create T-shirts. It's unbelievable. So that's one side of it. And the other side is you can also use it for education for the children. You can create classes and you can design some stuff. So if I just click on this, very briefly, I'll show you what I did with some of the children. They had to I'm not going to get into it, but we're designing little posters about France and Paris and things like that. And you can create classes and do design. They can comment on their things, and it's another face of Canva, which is very, very good. It could be a webinar. I could be speaking about it for probably about an hour and more. So I only got 20 minutes, so I'll keep moving. If you want a deeper dive into Canva, with Joe, got very, very lucky to be doing some Tilt webinars with Joe Dale, Helen Myers, who are 2 organizers, and Anna Granger. So we've done 2 webinars on Canva. that you have access to here if you click on the presentation, or you have the QR code here. So that will be something you can do later if you're interested. What I'm very interested in Canva is the fact that if you want to design something nice, but you also have to be a bit quick. And it's good to know shortcuts and productivity and things like that. So what you should be doing is in knowing stuff. So in Canva, obviously, there's lots of classic transferable ones, shortcuts you should know with the keyboard, for example. So you have bold, Control B, Control I, Control C, copy and paste, always the same, undo, select all, and things you can do normally in Microsoft Word or Google Docs and things like that. So these are very transferable, and you can use in Canva to go faster, which is pretty useful. Also here you have some super convenient ones like these ones here. You can see L and R and C. I'm going to do a quick demo. And if you have access also later on to the presentation, just click on it. There's a very good, someone's popped something online on a blog, and lots of shortcuts, Canva shortcuts, which are excellent. So I do advise you to have a good look into it. So if you want to work quickly, I think it's very important to be able to work quick, but also to work well. You need to know all these little shortcuts. The more, obviously, the more you practice, the better you get at it. Right. Today, the plan is to design something super simple, but very effective. So it's taken for breaking the sound barrier from Gianfranco Conti and Steve Smith. We've got a certain way of teaching that I've embraced, and I find it very, very good. Not everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's very great. But this game you can adapt to everybody. It's called Battleship. And you have a part of a sentence. The aim of the exercise here is to actually make people speak. It's all about speaking and developing the language. You can obviously in any languages, and you pop some sentences or bits of sentences or chunks on the left-hand side here and on some more there. Obviously, they all got to make sense. So, je joue au tennis de temps en temps. I play tennis from time to time. I play tennis once a week. I play tennis every day. So, like you play Battleship, you pop 4 boats, crosses somewhere, and the people you're playing against have got to decide or to guess where your stuff is. In order to do that, they have to speak in the target language, which I think is a great. So this is just a little example. I wanted to make something fun instead of having a plain sheet. And this is the kind of things you can design with Canva. This is another type. This is probably my favorite, bit more origami orientated and Japanesey. I think quite fun, that one there. And another one, which is a bit more simple. Okay, so let's go and create. So what I found with Canva is I'm going to start from scratch. So if I go to create design here, and I'm going to go into A4 document, you can see that it's in that direction. They always propose you lots and lots of templates. So if you're not too good at designing things, you have lots of templates you can use. I want to resize it because I want to have it landscape. The only way to do this is to change the orientation by typing just the opposite, 29.7 by 21. And you want to copy and resize, well, you're going to have to look just able. I can definitely do that if I want to start using shortcuts. I can tap lines. My connection is unstable, hopefully not for so long. And you can type lines again, and you can see I can create lines very, very quickly. However, to make a table will take quite a large amount of time, and I find it quite difficult. So I do prefer using Microsoft Word to do the grid, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. I pre-prepped it to go faster because I only got 20 minutes. I prepped it here, the table. It's nice and easy and simple. So it's a 5 by 5. I started populated some things there. But what I like to use to go even faster, and something which is super cool, is you can use the dictate option to go faster. So let's try to do a demo. Sadly, I'm going to have to move that down. It's perfect. You can see the dictate option here. I'm going to click on it and try to dictate whatever I need to say to it. Hopefully,
Jérôme, we can only see your Canva screen, Jérôme. We can't see Word online. We can just see your Canva screen. Just to let you know.
Okay, sure.
So maybe you need to click on New Share and then choose Screen.
I'll do that. Yeah, thank you, Joe. That's brilliant. Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No problem at all.
Can you see my screen now?
Yep, we can see the grid now. That's great.
Excellent. Sorry about that. Okay, so you are in Microsoft Word, and I've created a grid 5 by 5. It takes seconds to do so. I've started populating this very quickly because I've got only a small amount of time. But what I want to do, I want to use dictate. So I click on dictate. You can obviously do it in several languages. I've selected the French one. I'm on a Mac, so it works slightly differently from what you have if you use a PC. But it still works the same anyway. You can do it with the online one also. You can also use it in Google Doc if you want to. It works for both ways. Google Doc is free. Obviously, we have a Microsoft here, so I've got the software for free. So dictate, I'm going to start dictating just a couple of chunks there and see if it works. So, de temps en temps, une fois par semaine. Oops, I didn't change the stuff. Une fois par semaine, tous les jours, and tous les soirs. If you mix French and English, that's what happens. Anyway, so you can see it's pretty straightforward. Sometimes you have to do a little. Obviously, the chunks are quite small, so if you're quick at typing, you don't have to worry too much. But I think sometimes it's much easier if you're long sentences to type and things like that. So I've got my grid now. I can get rid of this. And what I usually do is I just take a screenshot of this on the Mac and try to hide the little cursor underneath there. Take a screenshot. Now I'm going to share my screen again and go back into Canva. So new share. And I'm back into Canva. Now I need just to put this inside. And it's, again, super simple because you can just drag it. So you drag it in there and look, boom, it's already there. Okay. So it's so simple. You can see a little bit of a cursor there at the bottom, but it doesn't really matter at the moment. I can just cut it if I need to do so. Okay. So there we go. I've got the grid already in there and I can start adding things very, very quickly. And you can see Canva is super flexible. So if you like your Bitmojis, like I do, as you can see here, you can hide lots of stuff. You can have lots of Bitmojis in there. I got some selected that I've been using the Bitmojis yesterday to create some more worksheets and things like that. But again, you can, it's another addition, one of the many additions and the app smashing you can do with Canva. So you had to click on Bitmoji and let's say I want to do swimming or something, even though we had it before, why not? You got some funny stuff there. So if you want to add something like this and put it in a corner or something, it's not going to be super wonderful things I can do in 5 minutes, but I can pop it down there, or I can put a boat or something. Probably would be much nicer. Get rid of this one and add this funny one on the bottom because it's Battleship after all. So let's do that. You can put some lovely backgrounds. So again, you can even put photos, or you have backgrounds here. Again, whatever you fancy, whatever your theme is, whatever you like to do, it's really up to you. You can just pop something there very, very quickly. Okay. Or if you have some pictures that you're looking for something specific, like pictures of something, let's say the sea. Again, it's amazing the amount of the bank of things that they have in there. Let's say I want to put this one and say, oh, look, if I right click on it, and I do replace background, I'm going to have that straight away in there. Okay. And to this, I can add lots of little elements. I'll go back into elements there. Let's say I want to add the sun or something. And I can the sun on top. Again, super easy to move around and sizable and stuff like that. Clouds. Again, whatever you fancy, I'm going to get just the graphic ones to go nicely with it. And let's say I want to add some clouds there. You can make small. If you want to duplicate this, you can just use some keys onto the computer and you can so super simple. You can change also that you can flip if you needed to flip it horizontal and put it the other way. Not it's going to change anything on this one. You can see it's not very nice, that blue there anyway. You can probably want to have something white and add this. Change the size very quickly and put it on top. You can play with the layers and do all sorts of things like that. When actually you've got your documents, which has been done, it's nice and easy. You can download it in many, many formats. and you can do PNG, JPEG, and all sorts. Okay, you can do videos and stuff like that. Also in there's plenty of things you can see in the tilt webinars we have done with Joe. We can make videos with it and stuff like that. It's just quite fun. Some shortcuts that I quite like using, if I go back into my presentation later on, if you happen to be doing a presentation in Canva, I'm going to go back into it and show you, which I think is really fun, is the following. So I'm going to present this again. I'm already in it somewhere. So that's the reason why he doesn't want to. Oh, he wants it now. It's okay. There's shortcuts onto the keyboard that you can use. And I just go back to the right. Sorry about that. Go back to this. And what you can do is, if you want to, if some people are during your presentation, if you happen to be doing a presentation with Canva and people are talking during your presentation, you want to shush them. Say, just be quiet, okay? Or if you want to fancy a little bit, you can have some bubbles coming up. Why not? Or you can have some confetti falling from there, which I think is quite fun. Also, if you want to do that. But what is very useful, if you are having, you can also put that stuff on the board, something like that. And if you want to put also a timer during a presentation, you can do it with Canva. You have the numbers from 1 to 9, and if you want, you can have a countdown also during your presentation. Okay, which is, I think, is quite a nice touch. So let's go back to. So I'll just keep moving. Obviously, you have the gist on how to start creating things and using lines and duplicating things and things like that. It's pretty straightforward. What also you can do is something like that. I've done some app smashing with, as I say again, with creating a postcard. So here in this one, and if you want to click, I'm going to bring this up. If you want to click, well, to take a picture of this, you're going to go onto my YouTube channel, which is quite young, so there's only 18 videos on it, but it's quite, there's bits and bobs that you'd be interested in having a look at. Creating a nice postcard. This obviously is about Paris, and instead of writing it, again, it's all about speaking. I've had the children recording themselves onto Flipgrid, and what you can do after when you're recording your Flipgrid video is you can pop a QR code, and you can send this to anyone by email or something, and they can have a look. And obviously, because it's AR, and I won't show you it here, but if you have a look at the video, it's the effect that you have if you have the Flipgrid app onto your phone is pretty amazing. You feel like that you actually use the full AR effect. And to make cards, I think it's very impressive, and people will absolutely love it. So do have a good look into this if you're interested in doing something like that. Again, it's another fun thing you can do with Canva and Flipgrid all together. Create a nice postcard and have your learners, whatever age, creating something like that to develop their speaking, really. Another thing that which is quite cool, and maybe I don't know how long I've got left now because I've totally lost the plot. But something which is quite cool.
You got 3 minutes, Jérôme. You're fine. 3 minutes to go.
3 minutes to go. Okay, super. Thanks, Joe. Another good thing that you have here is another option that you have into Microsoft Word. If you use Word online, you can obviously have a free Microsoft account, and if you go onto Word 365 online, you have the transcribe option, and the transcribe option is also pretty amazing. If for example you have a video and you want to get the transcript of it, sometimes you can get it onto YouTube already, but if you want to have the full text, you can run the video in the background, and instead of using the dictate option, you have the transcribe option, and you can actually get the script from the video. Again, you can have a good look at my presentation later on. You can see how amazing it is and how accurate it is. And probably about 60 or 70 languages, thing like that. So it's excellent. I could continue doing some Canva, but I want to overrun. So let me know what you would like me to do. or I can show you some stuff in the meantime if you wanted to. But
we've still got a couple of minutes. We're fine.
Okay. Right. Okay. So I can go back. Onto
yeah. I think your internet connection is being a bit unstable, but don't worry. We've got the gist of it. It's fine. Yeah. So you've got a couple of minutes to show us some other amazing things with Canva.
Okay. So I'll go back into my presentation on Canva. Go back on home. And go back onto my presentation. Okay. A thing which is pretty amazing, and when you are doing a presentation in Canva, if you're creating you want to add a video into it, again, it's a bit like when you do on Office on Word 365. If I go into YouTube now very quickly and try to grab a video, if you just get the link and go into my channel, I'm going to be very I'm just going to this, just try to get the link of this. I get the link there, then I go back into my Canva, and if I paste it, you can see that if you just copy and paste into Canva, you can pop the video straight into it, which I think is pretty amazing. So it's so quick, and you can pop the video. So you can do that obviously into images that you do, or you can be doing that in presentation and stuff like that. Technically, you can also run QR codes, create your QR codes, you can create more logos and stuff, and you have access to all of this. If you need to get some stuff, put on something on Instagram. Pixabay is also amazing. Again, as I mentioned, there's tons and tons of things you can grab. All these apps smashing that you can actually do, and GIFs and stuff like that with Canva. Okay, so if I just go back onto this, and again, you can add plenty of more stuff there. And again, if I want to add text to put a title, I just click on T. I got my text there. There's hundreds and hundreds of fonts you can use, and let's see, you want to make it slightly bigger.
I think we're running out of time a little bit now. Okay. So is it okay to do a few questions?
It's absolutely fine now, Joe. Again, there's so many things I could speak about, but again,
I know there's so many things. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. That's brilliant. I think
I'll stop sharing
you've
my
given
screen.
us a lovely flavour of what you can do with Canva, and I would really recommend everyone to have a look at Jérôme's YouTube channel, as well as the two Tilt webinars, which are available on my channel, JoeDale100, which I put in the chat, to see a longer demonstration of how to do a step-by-step with Canva. But we've got a couple of questions, if that's okay. The first question is, how do the children use the template? How do you avoid photocopying? So if you've made a template with Canva, is it easy to share that with all the students, or are you using it just to create materials for your own
no, you can.
materials?
Well, you can photocopy, and obviously you can create a template, and then on top of that, once you created your template for that specific exercise, you just can change the grid. So you have your template already. You change the grid. It's much nice and easy. How do you share with children? It depends if you work on tablets or if you work on computers. So if you happen to be working on tablets, it's nice and easy. You can send it up to them in OneNote. You can start using the tablets to speak if you have a limited budget for photocopying. Otherwise, you just photocopy it and pass it on.
Fantastic. So you can share the finished resource, but is it possible to share a template that they can then edit in Canva?
Yes, they can. If you obviously, if you have to create your classes, so you have to use the other side of Canva instead of using the personal side of Canva, using it as a classroom. So you can share that template, and they can edit and do whatever they want to do with it.
Amazing. That's fantastic. We had a couple of questions around the education version or the pro version of Canva. Can you just sort of clarify exactly,
it is exactly
what people need to do to apply for the education version?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, if you have access to the presentation there, or if you type onto Google or whatever browser you use, Canva for Education, you go there, and usually what you have to do, you have to prove that you're working in a school, you're an educator. Again, you pop your credentials up, if you can see it, but you pop your credentials, take a picture of it, send it to them, and within 2 or 3 days, normally they're quite quick answering, and they'll go send you an email. So, well, you have an account, a free account now, and you have an account forever as an educator. So, and you have fully functional, it's like having a pro, I think a pro costs about £100 a year or something. So I think you're in for a treat there.
Yeah, that's fantastic, lovely. And we've had a few people asking if it's possible for you to share your presentation. I don't know if you can, if there's a link for your presentation you can share in the chat.
I'd be very happy to do that. Whilst Finita is doing a presentation, I'll pop it into the chat.
That's superb. Thank you ever so much, Jérôme. You're a star. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
And
sorry about the little glitch.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. So without further ado, I'd like to hand back to Pagjati, my co-host, who's now going to introduce Finita for the second presentation around Canva EDU. Over to you, Pagjati.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe. Thank you, Jérôme. It was great, inspiring. We're going to continue with Canva, still about Canva. Hopefully, everyone still stay in tune. I would like to introduce the second speaker. Some of you already are familiar with Finita, some not yet. So Finita is a lecturer at the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Purwakarta campus. She is also the director of TPD, Teacher Professional Development and iTELL. Great passion and interest in the area of education and technology, and has delivered many workshops on technology focused on TPD, Teacher Professional Development, and recently received a grant for Teacher Professional Development about developing engaging and interactive online learning using digital comics platform. Today, she's going to talk about showcasing the digital comic and created with Canva, of course. And the floor is yours, Vin.
Thank you, Pagjati. Hello, everyone. I'm trying to share my screen. Can you see my screen now, Pagjati?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So as Pagjati mentioned that I'm going to share with you a digital comic using Canva, I will invite you to explore my digital comic and show you how to create the digital comic. I'm lucky because Jérôme has given you a tour on Canva, so then I don't have to reintroduce Canva to you. At least you know a little bit about Canva. So this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about comic, and you can respond on the chat box whether you love comic or not, because I think my assumption is that most people love comic, regardless of their age, whether they are young or old or kids or teenagers. I think many people love comic and get the experience of reading at least one comic. See, many people mentioned that you love comic. Anyone hate reading comics? All right, then. Thank you for the response. So why do people love comic? Because I think it's visually attractive. This is the kind of conventional comic, if I may say, conventional comic that you might familiar with. You can see there are speech bubbles there, and it's visually attractive. But how about if we teachers create a kind of interactive digital comic? Why is it interactive? Can you imagine if you can put your own voice in the digital comic? And then you can also embed video, just like what Jérôme show you. You can embed your video in a digital comic. And you can also attach some interactive exercises. If you're familiar with the Hood or quizzes or learning apps or word wall, those are some exercises, online exercise that I think you are familiar with. So this is not the comic that I'm going to teach you how to create, but I'm going to show you another level of digital comic. This is gonna be visually engaging. And then it's interactive, as I mentioned before. Students can click here and there, listen to your voice as a teacher, watch video, do exercises. It's flexible because students can access it 24/7, anytime, anywhere, and also self-paced. Why is it self-paced? For those, the fast learners, they might be able to finish the comic quickly, but those who are not really fast, they can do it in their own pace. So it's a self-paced kind of learning environment. So this is the digital comic that I'm talking about. I'm using Canva to create this. If you see that those green button looks like a player, later if you click it, then you'll be able to listen to my voice. And then if you click this blue button, students will go to some exercises. And if you click the YouTube channel here, students will be able to watch the video inside your comic. I have to change my mode of sharing screen so that I can use, so that I can click on my digital comic. Later, when you access my presentation slide, you will be able to go to this link and try the comic yourself. But now I'm just going to walk you through my digital comic. So this is the digital comic that I'm talking about. Let me share the sound first. If we click this green button, and you will listen to me as a teacher. The topic of this comic is extreme sport. Let's listen to this.
Hello everyone, hope you are all well today. So in this session, we are going to talk about a topic that is extreme sport. I think you have heard some common extreme sport like skateboarding or scuba diving or maybe windsurfing. So we are going to talk about more extreme sport today.
Okay, so that's the introduction to the lesson that I record myself using Vocaroo. I'll show you how later. And then by looking at this arrow, it means students will be able to go to the next activity, the next scene. I have two pictures here. And if you listen to this, let's see, I will just go to the middle.
All right, now what I want you to do is think about 3 words related to the pictures. Don't worry, you can have time to think about that. And when you are ready with your 3 words, please click the blue button and put your 3 words in the website. Okay, I'll see you in the blue button. Bye.
Okay, so that's an instruction for the students to think about 3 words related to the pictures and then write it down. You can direct this activity to WhatsApp group. So students can have a kind of activity interaction in the WhatsApp group mentioning 3 words that they have in their mind. And you can also, I will give you another example.
Pretty popular right now. So what do you think about these two extreme sports? Are you interested to try one of them or even both of them? Tell us what you think about these extreme sports in the chat box. Okay, let's.
So we can ask the students to interact with their friends by using this comic as the platform. So that's two different things that you can find. You can post pictures, you can link to WhatsApp group or Telegram group that you are using, and also you can have your instructions so that students can feel your existence, even if you you exist in this digital comic. Also, you can add video from YouTube like this, and students can play it directly inside the comic. I'm not going to play it through. And after watching the video, you can ask your students to do exercises. I'm using learning apps. Probably some of you are familiar with learning apps. It's a free tech tools that can help you create interactive activity. So this exercise is based on the video that they watch. So this is the questions, and then they can click this and check whether it is right or not. They get the icon, things like that. So this is an example of linking the comic into the digital, digital comic into another platform. So I think that's what I can show you, what the potential of digital comic. And then now I'm going to show you how to create it. And I think in 10 minutes or so. Before I create my digital comic, I usually create this kind of storyboard, a very simple storyboard. It's like you are creating a lesson plan, how you are going to start. Are you going to start with introduction to the topic? Are you going to have a brainstorming activity? Do you want to have a discussion about extreme sport, and so on and so forth? Or You may also want to have a more detailed storyboard like this. You give the topic, what you are going to do, the activity, and also the tech tools that you need. Like for example, here, brainstorming, I'm gonna need picture, and I'm gonna need my voice. In the discussion, I'm going to have a discussion in Telegram. So plan first. Don't just jump into Canva and create. It will take a lot of time. But if you plan it first, I believe that it's gonna be easier for you to do this. So these are the stages that you are going to go through. First, you choose the template. Why we need this storyboard? Just to make sure that we know the kind of template that we are going to need. If I have this kind of storyboard, it means I'm gonna need 9 boxes of comic strip. If I only have 6, then I'm going to create 6 template of 6 and so on. And then you can also insert avatar like Bitmoji. This is my Bitmoji. Jérôme also used his Bitmoji. If you are not familiar with Bitmoji, you can search in Google, download it on your cell phone, and also link it to your desktop. If you don't know how, at the end of my slide, I will give you a link to my video tutorial on how to create Bitmoji. And then after that, you are going to insert video or audio, and also insert some additional exercises. All right, now I have to go to my Canva. Let's see. I have provided this template, so I'm going to show you. Later, you can use my template so that you don't have to create your own comic template. And then go here. And this is the comic template that you can use later. I've given you 6 boxes, 9 boxes of cartoon, and so on and so forth. But once you go to my template, please make a copy so that everyone will get a clean template, not the one that you mess up with. Make a copy, and then it's gonna be yours. No, it's gonna be yours. If you see this copy of comic template, then you can just write your name, Finita, for example. I'm going to use this, the 6 boxes. So first thing first, I will put my avatar. You can use Bitmoji from here, or you can also attach it on your desktop. Later, you can watch the video tutorial on attaching your Bitmoji on your desktop. So let's see. I will click this, and then I will write, my topic is about extreme sport. So it will automatically create a Bitmoji with the text that we want to have, as long as it's not too long. Let's limit to 2 or 3 words. Copy it in your Canva, adjust the size, and there you go. That's your avatar. And the second things that you are going to do is recording your voice. Remember the voice that you use to introduce the topic. So now what you're going to do is go to Vocaroo.com. It's an online recording tool, and you don't have to download, you don't have to upload, you just put it on the cloud. What you need to do, just click this red button and start recording. Okay, I will click this red button. Hello everyone, welcome to my class, and today we are going to talk about extreme sport. Have you ever heard about extreme sport? Do you know any extreme sport? Okay, when you're done with your recording, please keep it short. Don't talk too long. It's better for you to have a lot more recording rather than have a long duration of recording. You can play it first. Once you are happy with that, then you can save it, copy it, and then put it on your template here. What you need, just copy and then click Control-V. Yeah, Control-V there. And there you go. Your recording is here. Oh, I paste 2 times. This is Vocaroo. Okay, so you put it there. You can make it smaller, but I think if it is too small, then the player will be too small for our student. So it's okay. Keep it like that. Or put this one up there and put the recording down here. Okay, so we've got the recording and Bitmoji. Now, what else? We want picture. If you want to add picture, just go to your Canva element and then search extreme sport. I'm going to introduce rafting, so let's search rafting. This one, just click it, adjust the size, and let's find another one. Is I'm going to introduce parkour. Click it, find a good picture like this, and there you go. You got the picture, and you can also add another instruction here. Okay, I'm not going to record again, but let's just copy. Okay, so you can have another instruction. Another thing that you can do is embed video. I have prepared the video on YouTube. This is the video about extreme sport. So what you're gonna do, just copy the link and then go to your comic and paste it there. All right. So we've got all the things, all the resources that we need. Now, how about an exercise? I'm going to do an exercise. I'm going to create an exercise using learning apps. Anyone familiar with learning apps here? We've been talking about learning apps pretty much, and this is learningapps.org. Later, you can access my slide and get the link. And then what you get, or you can also use quizzes, Kahoot, WordWall, also famous. You can do the same thing. I'm not going to show you how to create learning apps. We are not going to have enough time for creating learning apps, but I'm going to show you my stuff. I think I have one about extreme sport here. If you want to know how to create learning apps, at the end of this slide, I have given you the tutorial video on creating learning apps. Once you create the learning apps, just copy the link and go back to your comic. Oh, sorry. This time, I'm going to have a button. So before copying it, let's find a button. I want a red button. I'll put it here. And then I'm going to have a text. I will write, do this exercise. Let's make it smaller. We can also reduce the space here and put it there. Once you do this, you can create the link. I'll go back to my learning apps, copy the learning apps, and then go to the text. If you see this tiny little icon like a chain, click this and copy the link there. Okay, so you can do the exercise. You can ask your students to do the exercise. Well, so that's what I can show you about how to create the comic. You can add any other objects similar to this, like Bitmoji, and then voice and picture and video, and also link to another third-party tools. Once you're done, go to these 3 little dots on top and don't present it, but publish it as a website. So don't present, publish it as a website. And open the website. Now you can see that this is the ready-made digital comic. If you share this link, I will just share it on a chat box. Ooh, where's the chat box? I will just share it on a chat box. You can shorten it using Bitly to make it easier. And if your student access this, they will be able to listen to your voice. Hello everyone, welcome to my class, and today we are going to talk about extreme sport. They will be able to watch the video inside the comic. And they will get the link to do the exercises, to any different tools that you are familiar with. You can link it to Padlet, to whatever it is that you are familiar with, and students can work on something in the third-party technology tools, and they will get direct feedback probably. You can also, don't forget to also link this to some chat box or messengers so that they can discuss the topic. It's not only the interaction between the students and the materials, but you can provide a kind of environment to interact between the students and the students through this digital comic. Well, that's all that I can say. You can access this digital comic. Don't forget to make a copy. Don't mess up with this template so that everyone can get the benefit of it. And then these are the link to the avatar, the audio, video, exercise. I'm using learning apps. And these are the tutorial video that you can access later, or you can go to my video YouTube channel and you can learn how to create Bitmoji, learning apps, Vocaroo, and others. So the next action for you, your homework, explore my digital comic that I provide, and then try to create your own. You can also share and tag us on our social media channel so that we know you've created this digital comic. So thank you very much. If you want to get access to my slide, you can take a picture of this, or you can also contact me, email me. I'm from iTELL. You can visit our website, itel.or.id, or email me at finita@up.edu. I think my time is over. I'm passing the screen to Pak Jati. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Finn, for the nice presentation. There are a few questions around, but I think they got the answer towards the end. But there is one here asking question about the access. Can we make a comic like that in the free version of Canva? That's the question.
Yes, we can create in a free version of Canva, of course, with the limited tab. Actually, if you use my template and then you use some free elements, then you can use digital comic using free Canva.
One more question here. How about the product or the comics that can be accessed offline, or it should be always online?
It should be always online. So what you need to do, you publish it as a website and share the link of the website through any channel that you are using with your students. Can be WhatsApp group, Telegram group, or even Google Classroom. But it should be online.
Yeah, so it's just like a website that they can play with.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Vince. I think that's all of the questions that I got here. Some are asking about like the characters that will be from Bitmoji, and yeah, I think they got the answer because they they asking question while you presenting.
Okay, just go to my slide. At the end, you will see the tutorial video.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll invite Joe and Jerome again. It's still here. Maybe there are some questions from the participants. You can write it in the chat.
I've been collecting lots of questions, which I'd love to put to our two fantastic speakers today, if that's possible. So let's start off with a nice and easy one, referring to the SAMA model by Dr. Ruben Puentedura, which is the following. Regarding the SAMA model, could you share with us activities that Canva can provide to reach redefinition? So for those people that don't know about the SAMA model, essentially what the consultant is suggesting is that there are different levels of integrating technology where redefinition is the highest point. So you're creating an activity which would not be possible without the use of technology, and you're redefining the learning. So any comments on that, Jérôme or Finita? Are you familiar, Jérôme, with the SAMA model, for example?
No, that's very interesting. I'm going to be looking up and learning.
Dr. Ruben Puentedura. If I have a look on YouTube for the SAMA model, it's fantastic. Finita,
let me try to answer. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Summer model, it's the highest position on Zero Puentedura's framework. And I think if you want to use Canva on the redefinition, then you can ask your, for example, on digital comic that I create, you can ask your students to create their own digital comic. So instead of the teacher using digital comic as the teaching resources, then you can have a kind of project-based learning for your students to create. They plan each scene, what they are going to do, they plan the script, they record the voice, and then maybe they choose the video from YouTube and so on and so forth, and create an interesting digital comic using Canva. That's redefinition from my point of view.
Yeah, I agree. Pagjati, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's the highest level. So it's highlighting Finita. So the student just get the raw material and the ideas, and connecting the dot, how to use what picture, what language to be put in there, and so on, should come from the student. So it's very good for student-centered learning. Of course, it's not for beginners; it's for advanced students or university students. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's lovely. Fantastic. So let's go on to another nice and easy question. Can you share some suggestions in terms of learning activities that we can offer to students to encourage them to use Canva? I know we've had the example of the comic, which is fantastic. Usually, if we just ask them to use it to transfer their ideas, they say they are confused and not sure what they should do. So any tips on getting the students up to speed on how to use Canva in relation to a learning activity? From maybe Jérôme, do you want to start with this one?
In terms of what? In terms of just operating in Canva and using different bits, or was just creating a project, or?
Well, so my understanding from the question is, how do you need to give, say, a lesson to teaching the students on how to use Canva, or how do you structure them familiarizing themselves with Canva so that they can then use it to create a learning activity?
Okay, it probably doesn't. It's very intuitive, Canva, isn't it? So it's really very, I'll say, quite straightforward. So especially if you've got all these templates, you've got all these pictures, you've got all these elements, and I think the children are very good. If you created a very small project just to practice just the very basic things, it shouldn't take too long, and they're usually quite good at picking this up. And probably about 20 minutes, they'll be ready to create a project. And if they're stuck, I can ask a question after, I suppose. But I think in a 20-minute session, you can definitely teach that very, very. It's so intuitive, it's so good, so quick.
Fantastic. Finita, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I think we can also ask our students to create, again, project-based learning, like for example, creating digital poster on campaigning on something. So they, before they go to Canva, they discuss, try to solve some kind of problems, find the tagline, interesting tagline on their poster, and as the final product, they create it in the poster. So the learning process can be before they create the poster, in the planning, in the discussion, and poster is the final product.
Lovely. We had a great question around collaboration, which I'd like to put to you, if that's okay, which is, so this person said, I'm a newbie in using Canva. Could you show what kind of collaborative work between students that students can do using Canva that they could use in their language classes? So can you collaborate, like with a Google Doc? Can you collaborate together on the same project, for example? Jérôme, do you want to start with this?
Can. Again, if you have a class or something, and you can create some documents, and they can work together on something. So they could have a section they could be working on if they wanted to. They could be working on the whole project. So if you have a project and they have several sections, they could be creating a section in the same document. That they can do that, and obviously discuss, if give a good talk about what objectives they have and things like that. But it's very easy to as long as you have the education access and create your class, you can definitely, it's very straightforward to have them sharing a document and doing something together.
Fantastic. And is that something that you personally do? Do you create options for collaboration?
Yeah. It's always good to have them working in groups of 3 or 4 and have them brainstorming a little bit about a design or something. Or it's a great thing to be doing, really.
That's lovely. And Finita, what about you? Do you use the collaborative feature of Canva?
Yeah, I usually use the link on the right top of the Canva. If you see the button, there is a share link and edit, share edit link, and students can share the editable link and they can work together on, for example, the poster that they are working on. They can also add comments, so discussion can go on in Canva. They can chat and comment on things that they want to change, they want to add, things like that. So it's a very collaborative tools.
That's lovely. I think we're sort of drawing a little bit to the end of the webinar, but just to finish off with, we had a question, a more sort of general question around comparing one tool to another tool. So someone has asked, if we compare with Genially, what is something that's more unique about Canva? Would you say they're quite distinct in the things that they can do? Either of you, who wants to chip in?
Jerome, you want to go?
Yeah, go on, Finita, if you want to start, and I'll go after you.
Okay, I use both Genially and Canva. What I cannot find in Canva is a pop-up box. In Genially, if we can create a pop-up box, if we click something, then the pop-up box will occur. But in Canva, we cannot do that. But then for collaboration, it's easier in Canva. And I think with low internet connection, Canva is more friendly than Genially. That's my personal opinion.
Fantastic.
I have to agree with you, Finita. I have to say I've been using Genially too, and the fact that you can do so many things in Canva anyway, and it's so intuitive and really it's very straightforward to use. Genially is a bit more complicated. Well, I suppose it's, again, you have to spend a bit of time learning how to use a website and things, but I do think that Canva is super intuitive. So
yeah, it's more user friendly, I guess. Yeah.
That's brilliant. So I'd like to really thank both of you for your fantastic presentations. I wanted to mention as well, if it's okay, the fact that we obviously looked at comics in your presentation, Finita. I have a free webinar on the 15th of November with Storyboard That, which is another tool which allows you to create your own comics. There's quite a lot of things you can do for free. There is a freemium version of it as well. But it's absolutely free. But it is 8 o'clock at night in the UK, so that will be in the middle of the night for people in Southeast Asia. But I will be recording it, and it will be available on my YouTube channel, which is Joe Dale 100. So if people want to watch the recording, it's going to be two people from Storyboard That talking about how it can be particularly used in languages. So based on the reaction so far of Finita's presentation on use of comics, I would really encourage everyone to catch the recording if they don't want to stay up in the middle of the night to watch it live. So there we are. Anyway, I'd like to hand over now to Pagjati to round us up, if that's okay. But thank you so much to Jérôme and Finita for these lovely presentations. And I think you've given people lots of practical ideas on how you can use Canva in the classroom, which is great.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jérôme and Fin and Joe. We come to the end, but before you leave the room later on, don't forget to fill out the exit ticket. I think Chris can put that in the chat. Or here is the exit ticket. Take picture of that. When you fill the exit ticket, you finish, and then there is a button to get your certificate. Yeah, do not make that one. So exit ticket, answer the questions. After that, you will pop up another window that you can click, and then you can get your e-certificate on your own. So thank you very much for coming. The next 2 weeks, at the Saturday again, 20th of November, then we will have 2 speakers. One from the UK, that's Vincent, and also we're going to have Calvin, Justinus Calvin, and we're going to talk more around the how to maintain a classroom interaction. Yeah, so classroom interaction, the tools, that's a secret. So come the 20th of November again, about the same time. Hopefully that will be coming again, and happy to see you there. The registration there, bit.ly/pc-itel-20 November. You can check my Twitter or my Instagram or Facebook later on if you're a friend with me, or with iTELL. That's going to be on the iTELL website as well. Okay, thank you very much again, everyone. Stay tuned, and also we're going to have a conference 2022 So visit our website. It's open for everyone. It's going to be a lovely seminars later, conference 2022 face-to-face in Yogyakarta. Yeah, visit our website then. Have a nice evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much, Finn. Thank you very much, Jerome. And thank you very much for Calvin, Chris, and Thor behind the scene. Thank you very much. And see you next 2 weeks.
Bye.